can count past 12.
You're live.
Oh.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, action.
We're here. We're live.
Welcome, everybody. The conclusion of the 2025 Canyons by UTMB. This is our post-race show. We've got the women's podium here from the 50K race. The Boulder boys are just offset here. They're going to jump on for a post-race interview here in a little bit. We've got Francesco Pupi coming in studio, Emily Hawgood. So we're going to be here for a little while. So sit back, relax, grab a sparkling water. Somebody get me a beer, please, and bring it to me in studio. Big thank you before we get started to the man behind the scenes, the MVP, Mr. Ryan Thrower. Big round of applause, everybody. Round of applause for Ryan Thrower. Do your thing. Peace sign to your fans in the audience. Okay, and before we introduce our guests, a big thank you to HOKA for supporting our coverage throughout race weekend. Cutting to it here, the women's podium here from the 50K. I can't wait to hear all about it. I was running on Cal Street, and I got a text from Ryan that said, Hannah won, exclamation point. So first and foremost, introducing our champion, Hannah Allgood, my coach and good friend, Hannah.
Woo.
Congratulations. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
In second place here today, another amazing, consistent, high performance from the pride of Kremlin, Colorado, Tabor Hemming. Big round of applause. Thank you, thank you. Last but not least, an awesome performance from somebody who I'm just getting to know and just meeting here this weekend, though I followed you on Instagram for a long time. From Germany, Kimi Schreiber.
Yay. Yay.
Kimi, thanks for being here. I know you're a little self-conscious about your English speaking, but I promise it's going to be fun and casual. And
yeah, I'm actually pretty nervous, to be honest.
Don't be nervous.
It should be fine, but after race, my brain is maybe not ready for some proper English.
Yeah.
Trying my best.
Well, maybe we'll start with you because, like we were saying before we got started, you will be a little less familiar to the Freetrail audience. It's your first time sort of being on one of our shows, so maybe you could just introduce yourself, where you're from, what you've been up to in the sport. You know, when'd you get into it?
Sure. I'm very stoked to be here, actually. But yeah, I'm from Munich. So here we go now. That's the first time. I'm doing trail running since 2018, and I'm with Terex since 2019, so quite a while already.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been around quite a bit. But I guess, like, it's my first race in America, so yeah, that's pretty exciting. And I would never guess to be on the podium, so that's much more exciting now.
What brought you here?
Actually, it was Eric Lipuma, one of our teammates. He said to me last year, Kimi, you have to come to the US.
Yeah.
You have to be here once just to, see how cool it is. And here we are now.
Well, I apologize. As a Californian, you didn't really get to enjoy the California sunshine that our state is famous for, but hopefully you get to stick around for a couple of days.
I stayed here, so I've been here for 2 weeks now.
Okay.
So I got a lot of sunshine.
Okay.
Like, to
So
be
you're
very
welcome
honest.
on behalf of California.
Thank you. I will definitely get back home a little tanned. But I definitely didn't expect race day to be rainy at all.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even bring a proper rain jacket because I was like, why should I bring it to California? There will be sun every day. And now
Ryan made the same mistake.
I guess some people did.
I think
But
we
yeah.
all did.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here. Congratulations. Excited to hear about your race. But first, we got to start with the champ. Hannah, oh my goodness. So, second race, second win of the season. You were in Marin County, whatever it was, a month, 6 weeks ago, where you smashed the course record at the Muck 50K. An awesome performance, but at a more low-key event. Fill the people in. How's training been? Because, I mean, to me, this was like a massive breakthrough for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Training's been kind of, I feel like, crazy because we just during Terex, we had our team camp. So I was gone for 2 weeks, and then I was home for a weekend, and I was gone for a weekend, and then I was home, and here I am. So I felt like training had been going well, but was a little bit more chaotic than I would have liked. And so, yeah, I was really excited. I think racing at Marin, I built a lot of confidence in my ability in this distance, but yes, not a lot of competition for the female side there. And so I was like, oh, I'm excited to race a harder 50K with some people that intimidate me a lot. So yeah, super happy with how it went today.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the race. Before we got started, you and Tabor made the joke that you basically ran side by side. So before we get Tabor's side of the story, I'd just love to hear how it went down, because obviously the women's field was stacked. So eventually it seems like maybe it became a battle between the two of you. Walk us through how it played out.
Yeah, so mainly besides the long uphill when Tabor was just so far ahead, I was like, she was going so fast. But yeah, it ended up being a lot at the front with Tabor, Jen, and I. And we spent 90% of the race together. Basically until the last mile 23.
Yeah, whatever that climb was.
Yeah.
That sucked.
And then I just like felt good on the climb, and I think I feel really confident climbing. And so it was just like, okay, I'm going to push this a little bit more. And then felt like I had a chance to pull away a little bit. And then from there was like, oh man, we got to go. And so then just tried to really use knowing the last two climbs that I was still climbing well, just really tried to push those last two climbs to the end.
What's going through your head there? Like when you got Tabor, you're at the front of the Canyon's 50K, building towards a 100-miler.
I was like, please do not cramp. I was like, this is the worst scenario. But I think it's one of those things in racing that even in your close, even if you have 3 miles or a 5K left, it's like anything can happen. And so I try really hard to hold any enthusiasm, because, you know, I've been at races where I thought I had the win and the person is sprinting behind me and you're like, oh no, I thought I had it in bag. And so it's more just like trying to think about keep pushing. And so that was all I did. And like I said, the last aid station was funny because we were 3 miles from the finish and I had one gel left, but I had ripped off the top and it didn't open and I couldn't get it open. So I was like running into, I was like, I need scissors now. And so they're like, scissors, anybody have scissors? The guy's like, I have a pocket knife. I was like, I don't care. I need this gel. And so, but I was just like, cause I also never look back in a race, so I don't like to see. So
I was going to ask you about that.
So I also didn't know. I was like, Tabor could be 10 seconds behind me. I have no idea where she is, and I just don't do that because I think it freaks me out, but also I'm like, just do your game plan and do what you want to do. And so it's very necessary to take that gel, but then also it's just good to feel kind of confident at the end.
Was it hard not to look back, especially like cresting Roby Point there? You got a little line of sight behind you, at least 60 seconds or so.
Oh, yeah. And also, like, people are clapping, so you can hear clapping. You're like, okay, is that Tabor? Is that someone else? Like, or is there just, like, 4 girls right behind me? Like, I don't know. And it is hard, but I think for me, mentally, I need to just be like, okay, laser focus on what I'm doing and just keep pushing.
Awesome. Tabor Hemming. Big win at the Big Alta, big win at the Desert Rats 21K. Here you are bringing home another second place. Walk us through how it went for you.
Yeah, today was just like a really fun day to get to race, and like, I don't know, I really enjoy California trails. Like, it's nice. You're just flowing. You're just like, you're not having to think. You're just like, this is fun just running.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's what I did for a long time. I just pushed immediately at the start and was like, I'm just going to go on a hard run today and let's see who wants to come along.
Yeah.
And then just, it was nice to have the mental breakup. Like at Big Alta, I spent a lot of that second half alone.
Yep.
And so I think today it was really helpful to have Hannah being like back there pressing and Jen for a while being back there pressing, because I don't think you find yourself in a lot of 50Ks where it's like the whole race.
Yeah.
There was never a moment that it was like, oh yeah, I have some daylight. Like I can kind of chill. It was like, no, this whole race is like, you're on it, you're having to pay attention. And I think that's, it's a good learning experience. So today was good for that.
I was just going to ask you that because obviously you and Eli both race prolifically. It's certainly more than like an athlete like Hannah does. And part of that probably allows you to develop racing skills that apply in races like this, where you have somebody just ahead of you and just behind you. Anything there that would be fun to comment on?
Yeah, I think because we train so much alone, you get really comfortable about just like doing your own thing always. And so if you feel good, you push. And if you don't feel good, well, you don't push and you get dropped by Eli and you're like, see you later, man. So today, like, I think it's developing the mental skills. Like the physical's already there, like more than capable of running a fast time here. But what do you do in a scenario where someone's breathing down your neck?
Yeah.
Like, do you think you're having a bad day and you give up, or do you saddle up and be like, yeah, well, there's other really good people that can do what I can do. So what am I going to do when I'm pressed? So that's how we view it. And I think that's why we race a lot too.
Yeah.
Is like it is to get challenged and answer question marks on a wide variety of things.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't race as much as we do, but it's fun and that's why we're here.
No,
So,
it's great.
yeah.
It's amazing. And knowing what you have coming up, which we'll get to a little bit later, you could see where this experience might apply further down in your
Exactly.
season.
Yeah.
Kimmy, tell us about your race. Oh, first of all, what happened to Jen? Because like I just was looking at the top 10 and she's not showing up.
Yeah, she was with us until around mile 15, and then Hannah and I gapped her from there. And I don't know. I think she had a DNF, but I don't know what happened.
Bummer.
So
Yeah,
I think-
it was like I saw on Instagram that she just had some GI stuff and was feeling pretty ill and throwing up. And so I think she pulled around 23.
Part of the
Yeah.
ball game. Our good friend Eli Hemming's in here too. I just said the same thing to him, you know? It's part of the game.
yeah.
Kimmy, tell us about your race.
So I came into this race as kind of the underdog, and I exactly did that. Like I put myself behind, but it was really hard to find a balance because you don't want to lose the people also. But this start was really horrible fast,
Yeah.
and
I'm sorry.
yeah,
It's your
like what the hell?
Sorry.
Really. And I was just behind, and I was just like, no, don't let them go, but also don't rush. Don't put yourself into a very hard moment already after 1K. And I found that balance, and then I tried to follow Hannah for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, nah, let her go. It's not worth it. I'm glad I did that. And then I ran whole of the race kind of alone, actually. I lost this fast group in this long uphill. And then there were like I was thinking, maybe I started too fast. Maybe now there's like the person with the, like, how do you call it when you have like a really bad moment in the race? Don't really any energy at all. And I'm glad I brought my music, and I just really tried to let me fall into my music. I put on a very nice playlist with everything in it, and they were like super like nice songs, and I just went with my little flow. And then suddenly there was Heather Jackson in front of me. And that was exactly what I did too. Like, okay, now I'm back in the race, and that was actually quite a cool moment. And then I thought I'm in fourth because I didn't know, obviously, that Jen dropped.
Yeah.
So that's how I finished. I thought all the time I'm in fourth, and I was super stoked with that
Wow.
actually too. Yeah,
Cool.
so I was very happy with my race. I was happy with my time. And I was just really happy. And then when I heard I'm third, it was just a very, very beautiful surprise. Yeah.
Congratulations. Fun anecdote here. Corinne was just in studio and she said she had just received a text from Heather Jackson saying, hey, just so you know, I can't make it to the podium. I don't think I need to go anyway, but I got to get to the airport to fly to Spain because she's doing the Traca, which is like a 200 or 300 mile gravel race
So
in Spain
long.
next weekend. Talk about racing a lot.
She puts Eli and I to shame.
Yeah.
For sure.
Kimmy, what do you view as like kind of your specialty right now? Because, as somebody who's followed you but don't know like as much about like kind of where you've been around the world, where you've been racing over the last few years, like is 50K kind of your thing, or were you kind of stepping up at this race?
It's a good question. I thought about that too today during the race, actually, because I told myself I don't really have a specialty, Like I'm not the fastest one for sure, but I'm also not the slowest one, but I'm somewhere in the middle. And maybe my strength is, if I have a good day, to like just keep pushing a little bit and then coming back. So I think maybe 50K, they get faster every time. So it's like, I don't know where this is going, but it's actually already so crazy. So I will maybe find myself in like 50 between 80K in the next future, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this must be a big confidence boost for you. So I've got the finishing times here. the champion, Hannah Allgood, finishing 3 hours, 57 minutes, 12 seconds. Second place, Tabor Hemming, 4 hours flat, 23 seconds. Kimi Schreiber, 4:05:35. So you all were separated by roughly 8 minutes for the podium. Great racing. Maybe let's wind down by talking about what's next. Hannah got a little preview of something this weekend, which is maybe one of the reasons why you chose to race here. Fill the people in what I'm talking about.
Western States 100, baby. We're coming. Yeah, it was fun to be on the trails today, but then you always have that little bit. You're like, oh man, there's so many miles after this. But yeah, so it was fun to be on the trails, get a little preview, and I think more so just mentally getting in the space of Western States. That's what I really wanted from this.
Yeah. So Western States, I mean, it's huge race. I paced you at Javelina where you got your golden ticket. And one of the things we were talking about, I think it was in yesterday's show, somebody made a comment about you. And I think the analog on the men's side was Jeff McGavro. Because, I don't know, you kind of think about, I think a lot of people would associate you more as like a mountain racer, but clearly like you're so fast. And with Western States where you have to be really on the gas the whole time, does this help you maybe feel a little bit more confident and that you have the tools in the toolkit that you're going to need in 8 weeks?
8 weeks. Okay. Don't remind me. Yeah, I think that's another thing that I also personally think that I'm better in the mountains. And that's also why, other reasons why I did Javelina are doing these faster races is to get more confident in speed and spending more time in that. Yeah, I definitely think this brings me more confidence where I feel like the beginning of Western States really suits what I think I'm good at. And then being able to hopefully just push for the rest of it and going from there. That's the goal, but it'll be fun. This made me more excited for that race for sure.
I think all 100 milers are like kind of, especially Western States, is like a true mix of speed and strength. I think Hannah Allgood has a good mix of speed and strength.
If only I had my pacer.
I know, I'll be in the studio. I'll be in the booth, but I'll be updating the tracker nonstop. Next up, Tabor Hemming. I'm sure you have like 500 races here in the next between now and when Hannah does Western States. But what's sort of the short?
Like 7 before, or wait, you have 8 weeks, so 8. Yeah. Eli and I are gonna behave actually, and we're not gonna race until Broken Arrow 46K.
So you only have 7 weeks off.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're just gonna hunker down and just see how not racing for 8 or 7 weeks does for us. We've never done that. And yeah, we're gonna see, it might be good, it might be bad, we don't know. So we're trying new things like always, because we never can not change things. People find consistency and we find chaos. But yeah, that's our plan, and then we'll do OCC and CC after that, and then we don't have to behave anymore.
Yeah.
Then
the gloves come off.
Yeah, we're going everywhere. So if anyone has fall, you should put on a fall race.
I'm not putting on any more races. Well, we'll see you at Broken Arrow. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, see us there.
Kimmy, what's next for you?
I was thinking to race next weekend, actually, a 25K race in Innsbruck. I'm not 100% sure about that right now. I will decide that very spontaneously. And then my next big one is Andorra by UTMB.
Cool.
Yeah, because I actually didn't expect to qualify here.
Oh. For OCC?
Yeah, for OCC next year. So yeah, I will do that and then OCC again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you over there in Chamonix at the end of the summer then too.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't do Andorra, since you're already qualified, you could come to Western States and pace Hannah.
I would love to do that, but she already has her paces.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys could speak German together and everything.
I know. All
Just
the
come
time.
back.
You could
Come on
practice
back.
during the
100 miles. Your German would be perfect afterwards. Oh my God.
Well, congratulations, all three. Thanks for making the time to come into the studio and share a bit about the story with us today. Like I said, we were out on the 100K course all day, and So as soon as I got that text from Ryan, I texted Hannah, and you said, "What even just happened? Oh my God!" Anyway, big round of applause for our women's podium here in the 50K. You are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to bring up the Boulder Boys.
The Boulder Boys.
Congratulations. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. Feel free to hang out. These guys will be here for 15. Good job.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, sorry guys. It's a bit of a squeeze here.
We're fine. Congrats.
Hey, thanks, you guys too.
Thanks.
Sorry we're not hanging.
I'm just riding the
You don't want to hear
coattails of these two.
You don't have to hear it.
Let me get my stuff together here.
Good job. Good job, guys. Y'all crushed it.
Okay, we're back, folks, with the Boulder Boys, who freaking put 3 in the top 5 today. Our men's champion, Seth Ruling, who is on a heater. Big round of applause. All right. Mr. Matt Daniels bouncing back from illness to bring home a 6th second place. Big round of applause. And our guy, Drew Holman, rounding out the top 5 here today. Couldn't do the podium sweep, but, you know, you brought home your coveted and patented 5th place position.
M5 Productions, Ryan and I. I needed like 2 miles more, folks.
Yeah,
You know?
Exactly.
Dude, you needed like a half mile more.
Yeah, probably a half
You're
mile.
coming in
half
hot.
mile. I was coming in hot.
Yeah, so to just make the inside joke a little bit more clear for the audience, it was actually here last year where you finished 2nd in the 100K. The day before, you posted a funny picture on your Instagram with the Never Second van, I think it was. And it said something like, "Never second, always 5th." And then you finished 2nd.
I finished second.
And so we made that joke, never second, always 5th, but also 2nd. But here you are, bringing
back,
over 5th.
back in 5th. Back where I belong.
All right, boys. Thanks for coming in. Seth, we got to start with you, dude. All right. Bouncing back from your huge win at Black Canyon, you're probably carrying some confidence here. Stacked race this morning. Tell us a little bit about how your training's been since February, what your mindset was like coming to the start line this morning.
Yeah. I mean, training's been good. I kind of was like building up, and then I think everybody I know has gotten sick in the past month, and so I got sick, kind of derailed it a bit, but I guess it wasn't a problem. But yeah, mindset was funny. Like last night I was like, I don't even want to race. Like I was like, I could like just not race and I'd be like super happy. And I don't know, like I feel like I was just sandbagging myself the whole time. So yeah, like, you know, getting to the start line and kind of like working into some sort of confidence, I guess, because I wasn't really confident actually before the race. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get 7th, like max, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like I like worked my way through some confidence, and like I like really just kept being like, I just want to compete, and it was super fun. I feel like racing everybody that was in the field, like it was so deep that it was like kind of like inspiring in its own way, I guess.
All right. So how did the dynamic work out? I mean, obviously you guys leave town here and then you have that screaming fast downhill to No Hands Bridge. I imagine you guys are doing low 5-minute pace and there's a big pack. Bring us into the moment.
Seth, who did you think was going to lead it out yesterday?
Okay. Yeah. Matt Daniels, for sure. We get right onto the trail, and I don't know, like all of us kind of looking around. Matt, straight off the front.
Takes the initiative.
Yeah. And you dragged people along. Like, I couldn't keep up. Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah.
You got to get rid of people early.
What was the strategy there? Was it spontaneous? You were just feeling it?
I was kind of just feeling it. I kind of held back on that first climb right out of town, you know? And then, as soon as we hit the trail, more so for myself, I wanted to be at least near the front so I could like see and navigate because it's kind of a technical trail going down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just kind of let the legs go and was like, oh, let's just like see who goes with. And then I wanted to push a little bit going to that first big climb so we could really see like who was going to be in the race early. Then the dynamics really changed.
All right,
after
well,
that.
you're just reminding me we got to back up one step because you posted earlier this week, like, I'm not sure I'm going to start. I've been super sick. So, I mean, obviously you brought home an amazing performance here today, but you had some doubts race week.
Yeah, bro, I was like that was like the sickest I've been in years.
Really?
I don't know what it wasn't COVID, but it was something that was like not fun to deal with. And so I was like, laid up all week and just didn't have energy. We got into town Thursday and I went for a run and I was like, not a chance I'm racing. Like felt so bad. And then Friday we went on a run and I felt pretty decent. And I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna like at least start this thing and see what happens. And
He was rolling on
together.
Friday. rolling.
Yeah, we were like, he's definitely racing.
The little shakeout run. Daniels was
Yeah. So things just kind of the page turned, you know.
Yeah. All right, so back to you then, Seth. Daniels takes the lead out. I'm sure there's a big pack of you guys, though. I'm sure it's not like he's getting a separation there, crossing No Hands Bridge, going towards the first climb. You're in the mix there. Who are the other guys like in that lead pack? And
Yeah,
how did it play
I was
out?
actually like off that pack a little bit, but it kind of came back together right at the base of that climb. It was Matt, Eli, some Finn from Boulder.
Finney and
He got-
Schulte.
He got third, I think. And then it was Cade as well,
Cade.
and Jesh.
Yeah.
And yes, it was kind of like, packed up and kind of like a group of guys. Like I looked around, and I was like, this makes sense that we're all here. And then I did like a half move up the climb, and it was not productive at all. And then like immediately after, Eli kind of hit it up that climb, similar like he did last year, but this time most guys were able to follow at least like pretty close. So
That's right. So just for our audience, you finished 4th here last year in the 50K. You bring up Eli, and it makes me want to ask, right? You know, he's coming off OCC. The dude's an absolute savage, especially at 50K distance. But obviously, it's a deep field, anybody's game. Was he sort of like trying to assert himself, or is he the type of, like, as you guys talk about coming into the race, who the favorites are, who the characters are guys like kind of keying off him now out of respect, given that he is sort of the 50K world champ?
Yeah, certainly. I think so. I mean, I on that climb, I fell back for a minute and then I like pushed again, did another surge up to Eli and kind of was trying to like one step a little bit just to test to see where he was at. And I quickly, like he responded immediately and I realized I was running way too hard and I backed off again and then him and Cade went up. And so I knew right then, I was like, okay, Eli's like, still fit, and so, I think, and then from there on, for the next few miles, the whole field just kind of watches what Eli and what Cade was doing, because Cade's been popping off in training lately, and we all know that.
I think
I
people who know
Yeah.
Cade are like, watch him.
So it literally was those two guys out front for the next few miles, just kind of, at least myself and Finn were kind of watching to see what they were doing.
Drew, go ahead.
Cade ran 40K, super strong, but he's the real deal.
Yeah.
He is
The real
putting
deal.
up times in Boulder that are wildly
It's
impressive.
scary.
Really, wow.
Yep, he's gonna be a big name in the sport, which is gonna be awesome.
Awesome. Sticking with you for a sec, Drew. Obviously those of us who know you're like tough as nails, especially like super consistent, and you've been, frickin' top performer at the World Championships, CCC, Western States, etc. This is 50K, right? Like obviously you're fast, you're talented. Does that feel out of your comfort zone? Like would you have been more confident coming into the race if you were at the 100K again?
Definitely would have felt more confident if it was a 100K or a 100-miler, because I think those are distances where a lot of my strengths of just like my mind actually like come back to be a huge benefit.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I found myself in 50Ks being a little grumpy at the beginning, because I'm just like, God,
Why are we running
damn
so
it, why are we
fast?
running so goddamn fast? I'm like running like 520s and they're just running away from me. And I'm like, well, okay, guess I'm gonna have to do the classic Drew where I race from the back again. I don't know, I think it's one of these things where I feel like I got more out of today than I deserved. I haven't raced since UTMB. I've been dealing with like 2 terribly like niggly injuries that have just like kept me from like really training. And so I didn't feel confident coming into this race, just because like I don't think I'd run over 60 miles more than like 1 or 2 weeks.
You're kidding me. God, that pisses me off. Dude. I like struggle to get 50 miles a week. I mean, Rye made the comment yesterday. He's like, "That's what Drew's doing." I'm like, "No way."
Yeah. I think I had 1 week over 60 miles in the last
Dude, that is
in the last
insane.
7 months.
I mean,
In the last 7 months.
yeah. I mean, so
The thing is like we went on one long run and
He dropped us so hard.
Dropped us, and it's like, shit, Drew's back.
all right. Sticking with Drew for a sec here. Obviously, I want to get everybody's perspective and story from today, but we were just chatting outside the building here like an hour ago, and you said you were running with Darren Thomas, and it was like you went through 10 miles in an hour, 20 miles in 2:05.
2:05 or something, and I'm like, we're running so fast.
And you're in like 12th place.
I was
or
in
something?
like 10th place, and I'm like, where is everybody? And I'm like, I think we're running well, Darren.
Yeah.
But I think that's just like the beauty of the sport right now. Like I don't know, I've been joking a lot in the last month or two about how like we're in the after times.
Yeah.
Like we have discovered carbs and ice.
Yeah.
And we didn't need the ice today, but like folks are just running so fast, and people are just not coming back in quite the way that they used to. And today people did come back, but these guys stuck it.
Yeah.
And like that's just the beauty of where we're at in the sport right now, is that it's getting, I mean, today was stacked. Today was, for all intents and purposes, was like U.S. national champs in the 50K
100%.
distance.
Yeah.
Like this is probably one of the most competitive 50K races in the last 5 years on American soil. And it's like just super cool to see guys running super hard. And I don't know, I like always remind you two, like talent doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to see you two just like absolutely stick it. So it was fun to be part of that and to put together a decent day. And I think that a couple more miles and we could have done the clean sweep.
All right. Well, I want to come back and hear about when you actually did start picking people off, because it sounded like it was an exciting finish there. And Nick said the same thing, who finished just behind you in 6th. But coming back to the champ here, eventually you sort of find yourself at the front, if not dictating the pace, knowing that you're going to be a factor for the W. How did it play out from there?
Oh man, I mean, I probably about halfway through, we crossed the road, and somebody's like, "Oh, like the leaders are like 45 seconds ahead," which I like, couldn't believe it. Like I was like, "No
And that's
way."
Eli and Jesh, or who is that?
No, this is Matt. So yeah, a little before halfway, I saw Jesh walking on, not
Okay.
Jesh,
Eli.
Eli walking on the side of the trail. But we crossed the road, and there's this field, and I see Matt, Cade, and Finn, and I was like, okay, like I'm not in a bad spot. I get to 3rd, and I'm like, sweet, like Boulder Boy's gonna go 1-3. That's like I was stoked. Like I was like, 3rd's amazing,
Yeah.
Coming out of the second to last climb. I have no idea where that is. What it's called, but
Yeah.
that's
That's supposed to be the grinder climb, right?
the grinder climb. Yeah. I passed Cade, and I was like, oh man, Boulder Boys 1-2. Shortly after that, we start descending down to the road, to like the bridge and all that. I see Matt stumbling down the hill, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I come up to him like, dude, they're walking. We have to get going. Because I had like built up this 1-2. I built up this like 2 guys on the podium thing. And I was like, I'm like, Drew's probably like lurking back there. I was like, it's going to happen. And I was pretty much like, you have to follow me.
Yeah.
And he not only followed me, we start going up from No Hands up the hill. He passes me, puts in a gap. And I was like, this is it. Like, I'm getting second. And I was like, I was like, that's fine. Like, Matt's going to go up the road. We get to the pavement at Roby Point. We're like a mile from the finish. Yeah. Get to the pavement, and I just see Matt go, oh, and like he grabs his hamstring. He's like cramped up, and I was like, oh my goodness.
3 minutes from
It's
Roby
like you're
Point to the
having
finish.
nightmares of the big altitude.
It was the exact same.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's when he caught me. I was like, trying, I was cramping up.
Dude, what an amazing story. Let's just pause here for a second. Like, how cool is it that 2 homies and training partners, Seth taking the lead, but you're going back and forth in the final freaking mile of the race, and you're both rooting each other on. Seth gets the better of you today, but obviously could have gone the other way.
I got lucky.
Matt, share your side of the story, because this is amazing.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, dude, it was just like I was like feeling really confident today, and I led from like 14 until Seth caught me at 28, 29, and then when he caught me, I was like, I'm gonna have to walk to the finish, and somehow his encouragement kind of got me like kind of hobbling again and running a little bit, and the cramping kind of stopped because most of it was uphill. any downhill. The legs were seizing up. And then, yeah, which is the only reason I was able to pass him on the climb going up to Roby. I was like, dude, I have to hammer this climb because this is the only part I'm going to be able to run from here to the finish.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, we hit the top of Roby and that pavement, and it was just like leg seized, and he put 3 minutes on me, like half mile. I just kind of walked it in.
Yeah.
But it was a good time, man. I was stoked that it was Seth. I told him, I turned around, I could hear somebody coming. I turned around, I saw orange, and I turned back around. I was like, crap, I'm about to get past. And then I was like, wait, Seth's the only guy wearing orange, and yeah, like it made my day. I was pumped.
So rad.
It worked out. I was
It's
very-
happened to me too. Actually, it was the 2012 Western States. Zeke Tiernan passes me at Roby Point, beat me by 7 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
7 minutes.
Your boy
That's a
was
long half
hurting
mile
unit.
down to the track.
Unit. What were you gonna say?
Oh,
Sorry,
I was gonna
son.
say I was like ready to drag. I was ready to like grab him by the hand and yank him up the trail if he
Yeah.
was gonna cramp so hard.
Oh, it's so great. So Matt, it reminds me of something we were talking about yesterday because who was it? Oh, it was Rod Farvard who was supposed to be in the 50K, bumped up to the 100. You were the opposite, supposed to be in the 100, bumped down to the 50K. What was that about? And like, how are you thinking about where you're at? Because obviously, like, you're so good at this distance, and you know, obviously, you've also been on the podium at Western States, and so you know, you could apply your skills to so many different things. So maybe first talk about the decision to bump down to 50K, why you did that instead of chasing a golden ticket back to Western States, and generally like how you're thinking about what's motivating you right now.
Yeah. So honestly, just a quick short story of how it kind of happened. Adam, Mary, and I went out to Moab a few weekends ago, just like a quick overnight trip, run a race, head right back, and we ran a 50K, and I had like a good race. And on the drive home, it was like white out snow. We're on Vail Pass and sitting in traffic and not talking, just like both, you know, wanting to be home and tired. And Adam just looks at me and, excuse my language here, he's like, Matt, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, dude, like, you're one of the best 50K guys around. Like, you need to, like, you got to focus on this. And you're obviously happy every time you complete one. And it just was like I just had kind of like one of those moments where I was like, you know what? I do love 50Ks. And I keep trying to chase distances for sponsorship opportunities and things like that. And feeling like I have to prove myself. And because when I jumped into the ultra scene, I had like instant success. And so it felt like I needed to kind of keep that going. And, you know, I love 50Ks. And so, yeah, I was like, I think I'm going to lean into that a little bit more. So I got home and immediately had Kelly email UTMB and we were trying to figure out how to, you know, get down in distance and do 50K. And yeah, that's kind of how it came about. And then trying to focus the rest of my season around that if I can. I'm still doing a few longer races that I really want to do. But yeah, the 50K I think will probably be the focus from here on out.
Yeah, and I think like the sport now is in a different place than it was when you were doing Black Canyon Western States, right? Like now 50Ks are, I mean, to me, it's one of the most exciting style of events or the most exciting distances. And yeah, why not apply the 4-minute mile speed to these quote unquote shorter races?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can always count on Adam Mary to like
I know.
really
Set
cut
you
through
straight.
the noise and tell you what you need to hear. Shout out
When Adam talks, you listen.
Exactly. All right, Drew. So pick up the story where you left off. Eventually, you go through 20 miles in 2:05, but you're in the back half of the top 10, if not outside of it. You finished 5th today, so obviously you stormed through the field in the last 10 miles or so.
Yeah, I just came into today being like, okay, I don't want to blow myself up in the first half, and that is very possible in this field, given the training volume I've been doing. So it's like, I want to get to the second half and feel like I can try to run through the field in the way that I have in the past. And, you know, that's like something that I'm comfortable doing. And as long as I keep telling myself that like, hey, you're going to like, people are going to come back, like typically they do. And so I had a really nice thing going with Darren where, you know, and Darren's such a strong climber, and he and I really like are similar runners in that way, where we were able to like keep it moving on, you know, like it's just like such a like rolly, climby middle section before you get to driver's flat. We were just like working together, pushing, and then it was cross the road, see Eli walking, and you're like, oh, okay. So the thing we've been telling ourselves, which is that like it went out so hot that some of these people are coming back, is starting to happen. We caught Jesh just after that. And so started picking people off there. and then got into a nice little rhythm with Johnny until that last aid station down in Mammoth Bar, and that was a moment where he's a really, really good downhill runner.
Yep.
And so we were like leapfrogging each other, where I'd pass him on the uphills, and then he would come ripping by me on the downhills. And I was like, I need to make a definitive move on this next climb,
Yeah.
and so I just like put it in gear. Saw Sven coming out of that aid station, caught Sven on the descent off of that, and then going up the last climb to Roby Point, past Cade, and Cade's like third is literally 30 seconds ahead of you. And I, this entire race, thought I was 15, 20 minutes back. The entire race. I was just like, the way they were running. I mean, I trained with you guys. Like you're just so freaking talented.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, you like, when you haven't raced I haven't raced since UTMB. It's been 7 months. Like no matter
Which
how.
was a vision quest.
It was
we gotta say, yeah.
I made eye contact with Dylan at one point and just started crying.
Champagne lock. It's like,
just locked in. But no matter how confident I am, or anyone in this sport, is like doubt starts to creep in.
Yeah.
And you start to ask yourself, like, do I still have it?
Yeah.
And so it was fun for me to just have a day where I was like, oh, like, didn't get back onto the podium in the way that I would have wanted to, but like it's still there.
Yeah.
And like with some good training, like we can be back.
Give a quick shout to Nick, because he came to Gorge 2 weeks ago. He wanted to try and compete for one of those red, white, and blue tickets to Team USA. He's been dealing with some health stuff, and he was frustrated and dropped out, somewhere in the halfway point or so.
Yeah.
He I talked to him on the phone a couple days later. I just wanted to check in on him, and he was like, yeah, canyons, I'm just focused on my health, but I want to try and qualify for OCC next year.
Yeah.
And I need to run some, easy time, more or less. He ended up only like a minute behind you in sixth place. Had a sick day.
Incredible day.
Yeah.
Just like so great because he was like pretty demoralized after Gorge. He had put a lot of work into that and had wanted to have a good day. And this sport is, it's not always kind. And yeah, he went from 9th to 6th on the final climb.
That's right. Yeah.
9th to 6th.
Yep.
On the final climb.
Yep.
Which is just awesome. And he was psyched and just, so fun to see.
All right. Some people in the chat are asking where third place Finn is. If you want to address that, Ryan is texting me the production. I don't know Finn, but he's obviously a savage, and we're gonna have him on at some point. So thanks for asking in the chat. We'll get Finn on the interview here eventually. But anyway, it brings up actually something I wanted to say here. As I look at the top 10. So obviously the three of you guys are Boulder guys. I think Finian is a Boulder guy too.
Yep.
Cade Michael, a Boulder guy.
Yep.
Jesh, a Boulder guy.
Yep.
Johnny Luna Lima, a Boulder guy.
Mm-hmm.
Was that 6 or 7 out of the top 10?
All I'm saying is,
Boulder?
where's Salt Lake?
Yeah, is there Salt Lake there?
Yeah, unreal.
No,
Across the bow.
I can't say anything.
a shout out to Finian.
Yeah.
It goes
Yeah.
by Finn, I guess. Man, all day long, just right up in the mix. It was.
Do you know anything
incredible.
about him?
I've never met him. It was the first time I met him today. We talked a little bit at the finish line. Just class act, stand-up guy. So good. Huge future ahead of him.
Sweet.
I've seen him on some Strava
Yeah.
leaderboards. That's about it.
Yeah,
if
well-
you're on a Strava leaderboard in Boulder, it's like, come on.
Yeah, we're gonna hit him up, and we have a lot of more stories to tell from this weekend's racing. So we're gonna make sure we give that kid some shine. So maybe let's do some shine giving now before we wind down here. We should have Francesco and Emily coming in here pretty soon too. Our champion here today, 3 hours, 24 minutes, 34 seconds, a little bit faster than Eli ran last year, I think.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that.
I'm pretty sure he was 3:25.
Okay,
So
I like that.
Snuck under by
cool.
about a minute, I think. Matt Daniels in second place, 3:27.19. Got gapped in that last mile, but still brought home a 6 second. Finn bringing it home in 3:31.54 for third place, a huge breakthrough result for him. Someone named Coleman Cragen finished fourth. Does anybody know anything about him?
No, I ran with him for a second on the race. He was nice.
He's an American guy, so we'll learn more about him. And congrats to him too. And it was only 9 seconds back was Drew Holman in fifth place, 3:32.27. Nick Handel, 90 seconds behind you, 3:33.58. Cade Michael, 3:35.12 in 7th. So Cade sort of faded a little bit back to 7th, but yeah, I mean, he finished 10th at the Headlands Golden Trail World Series race and then 12th in the Mammoth one. So, I mean, he's like early mid-20s, so he's going to be a gangster in the years to come.
He'll put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the right head on.
Stephen Koch, the German, 3:35.56. Johnny Luna Lima, Boulderite, 3:36.14. And then Jesh, it seems like you guys saw him walking, or?
He was he was not walking,
Okay.
but he was having, I think, pretty serious stomach issues.
Yeah.
He like threw up pretty early.
But he kept toughing it out. So
Yeah. Rad. Boys, what's next? I mean, dude, all right, so we got to say, we're on Troy watch here. Yeah. We're on Trail Runner of the Year watch. No pressure, but Black Canyon victory and course record. Victory, course record here at Canyons. Now we go to Western States, the best men's race in Western States history. Seth puts one on
Victory
the
course record there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, so maybe just tell people what you're taking from this race that you're gonna point towards Western States.
Yeah, I don't really know other than like just kind of stick in it even when because I guess like there were points in the race where I was like, oh, I'm like in 5th or 6th, I'm not gonna win or anything. Like definitely ruled that out, and anything can happen, I guess. So maybe ride that in States because it's a heck of a lot longer. Drew, after I finished and he came across the line, he was like, man, just think about running 70 more miles on those trails. And I was like, I don't want to think about that. So also, yeah, still scared.
All right, so officially you're the only Boulder boy doing Western
Officially,
States.
yeah.
What's the team got planned to shepherd your boy across this amazing 100-mile route?
I mean, we got Drew's gonna be in Lavaredo.
yeah, I'm going to run Lava.
Yeah, Matt will be there.
I'll be there. Yep.
Adam maybe be there. He has a kid on the way.
Yeah.
So TBD. And then Moy also has something going on.
Yep.
So
Well, you
sorting
guys
it
are
out.
well supported.
Yeah.
yeah, well supported.
The Boulder Boys stands will be out there in droves. for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, dude, we can't wait to watch your race. And I hope you feel really confident going into it. And I hope you don't show up in Olympic Valley feeling like, I don't feel like racing tomorrow. Like you did yesterday. In fact, actually, well, maybe I should hope for that because obviously you've proven that's a good strategy. Matt Daniels, what's next for you?
I got Transvolcania in 2 weeks. So, yeah,
Rad.
I just wanted that's a trip I've always wanted to do, a race I've always wanted to do. So, going to knock it off the bucket list.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That should be a great race for you
Yeah,
too.
it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rad. What's the rest of the year look like?
Then I'm gonna do 30K out at Twisted Fork and Broken Arrow, and hopefully Worlds. And if not Worlds, I'll probably go out to Kodiak. I really want to. Well, actually, I don't need to do Kodiak now because I'm in OCC. I guess
You do not need to
for
do
next year.
Kodiak.
If I got into OCC somehow this year, if that happened,
Yeah.
I would be out there in a
I
heartbeat.
don't even know how that works.
But World Championships, if I can make the team, I think would be a fun goal for the
Awesome. So
year.
you'll go for short
Yeah,
trail
the
team at
marathon
Broken
distance.
Arrow.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Might as well jump in the VK then too.
No, I don't know about that.
Lavaredo.
Lavaredo.
When did you plan that?
I find it was a really, really hard decision because Seth and I had like such a freaking fabulous day out at Black Canyon. But yeah, in the last like month or two, decided to go run in the mountains.
Are you
have to
pointing
go.
towards UTMB again this year?
CCC or UTMB.
Yeah.
We'll see how life shakes out.
Yeah.
I got a wedding in end of September.
That's
A lot of life going on. So, but I'll be at either CCC. or
I got
UTMB.
married 2 weeks after doing UTMB. Yeah.
How'd it go?
I was the one that got away from me in my career. I was with Tim
Yeah.
in like 3rd and 4th. With like 10 miles to go, I finished 7th. But that was the year it was Francois, Killian, Tim Tollefson, Xavier Thevenard, Pau Capel,
Oh my gosh.
me.
Legend.
The who's who.
So,
Wow.
and
so
then
cool.
behind me, it was Zach Miller, Gediminas Grinius, Jordy Gamito. So it was a great
Stacked.
year in UTMB history.
I'm not trying to rush anything. I want to get myself fully healthy.
Yeah.
And like get back to actually being able to train a bit more. So.
Well, I just want to say publicly, kudos to you for finishing last year. You know, I think there was
Thanks, Dylan.
a lot of people who pulled the plug, and obviously no judgment for that either. But there's a time and a place to muscle through it, and you muscled through it, and that you will be rewarded for that on that course someday. Yeah,
Thank you, Dylan.
cool. Big round of applause for the men's podium of the 50K here at Canyons. Seth Ruling, Matt Daniels, Drew Holman. Thank you guys for coming to the studio. Can't wait for the pod
Thanks
to
for
drop
having us.
about this. Hope we didn't spoil the material.
No, we got to actually sit down and record a pod. We're a little late.
Been a few weeks.
Subscribe to the Boulder Boys. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you.
To the audience,
Thank you,
hang
Ryan.
tight. We're waiting for Francesco Pupi and Emily Hawgood. They were at the podium presentation, but they should be here any minute. So hang tight to our audience. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
catch you guys soon. Okay, audience, thank you for waiting here as we send the Boulder Boys on their way. Francesco Pupi is going to be here in just a minute. And joining us now, the women's champion of the Canyons 100K, the pride of Zimbabwe, Emily Hawgood. Congratulations. Good to see you.
Thank you.
How was the podium presentation? You're walking straight over from receiving all your accolades.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Some of the girls weren't there, so
Oh,
I know. Which is
I
always
don't
kinda
think they
sad.
really planned it very well.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If you guys hadn't asked me, I don't know if I would have known it
Yeah,
was right now. But
Oh.
that's okay.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? I guess probably 2 or 3 hours removed from a huge statement victory for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't hit me yet. It will, and I'll burst into tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
Okay, Ryan's going to pull up a clip here because I got 25 minutes of video. Yeah, please. So what our audience is going to see here on YouTube right now, if you could pivot it so Emily can see too, because she hasn't seen this yet.
No.
This is Tim Tollefson and I just up the hill from the Rucky Chucky River crossing. So for our audience here, in the Canyons 100K, as opposed to the Western States 100, you do not cross the river. Instead, you continue and start climbing up this dirt road, which is known as Driver's Flat. Emily Hawgood is in the lead right here, but what you're going to see is Marianne Hogan just behind. So you can watch this, Emily, because I'm sure, I hope it's
Yeah.
not, bringing back stressful memories of you guys going toe to toe. But maybe first just start with, I talked to Paul, your coach, Paul Lind, and he said that you guys came in with a bit of a strategy of like, let's go hard off the front. No pressure. You're already in at Western States. You don't need a golden ticket. So maybe just start there. What was kind of the strategy and psychology coming into the race?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a super smart runner. And so sometimes I think that is kind of my weakness. And I hold back a bit because I'm like, I know I've got 62 miles to run or 100 miles to run. So sometimes I think I hold back a bit. And he's like, hey, let's just roll and see what we can do and see if not letting you be too smart and put it on the line a bit, like kind of gives you the green light, and we can see like if you can hang in, like maybe you get to driver's flat and it's like wheels fall off, whatever, but you don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
And hopefully things stay together and you can roll.
Okay, so the women's race today was one for the ages. So it seemed like, just from following the tracker, and it was kind of hard to track throughout the day too. So, but it seemed like it was sort of bunched up, and especially you and Marianne seemed to be like kind of working together at the front of the race. Is that accurate? Because the first split that I saw, and welcome to the studio, the men's champion here, Francesco Pupi. Yes.
Congrats, friend.
So maybe just chat through the dynamic in the women's race, and at what point it became sort of a battle between you and Marianne at the front.
Yeah, so I kind of took it out from the start and could hear, people behind me, and I figured it was the girls. Like, I'm never going to take it out and not have anyone go with me. Yeah. And 3 miles in, Marianne kind of hooked on behind me, and I was chatting with her just like, hey, dude, it's super good to have you back out here racing. And, it was really cool to be out there with her. And she's super competitive, so super plugged in from the start. And she passed me pretty quick and then rolled on the downhills. And then the first creek we get to is called Indian Creek. And as we were climbing out, she like dashed in the bush. And first I was like, wait, did she take a wrong turn? And then I realized she's using the bathroom. Yeah. So she would always pass me on the downs, and then I would catch her on the ups and pass her. So we were kind of playing like swapping all day. Yeah, but obviously, so we had the out and back, so we got to see everyone. And like I got to swing bridge, turn around in 20 to 30 seconds. There were 5 girls behind me, which, as I said at the finish line, like this is how we do it now. It's, you're never gonna just have a cruisy win and get a big gap, especially at the big races. And yeah, everyone's out there to compete, which is really fun. So Jasmine actually climbed really strong out of Devil's Thumb. Yeah. And then kind of me, Jasmine, and Marianne kind of hooked up before Michigan Bluff. And then, we caught Marianne before Volcano Creek, and then me right after. Yeah. And then, I was going to fight with Marianne from Forest Hill.
From Forest Hill. Okay, great. Because the first split that I saw was after I had been like running with Francesco for a bit. I ran with Francesco through Cal 2 and then stopped and, yeah, it's so good. And we have such great footage, which we're going to show.
At this time of the year, green and the flowers and, on the river. Yeah. Beautiful.
So before we get to Francesco too, I just want you to comment on what's happening here on screen, because I think right now we've only seen Emily, but Marianne is just behind you here. So eventually I sort of wait for her and she catches up. And so basically you guys came into driver's flat together. And just to pat myself on the back, Ryan is our witness, but in our predictions yesterday, I said, closing my eyes and thinking about it, I think it's going to be Emily Hawgood, Marianne Hogan together at driver's flat, and then Emily's going to pull away in that home stretch for a big victory. And did I also pick Francesco Pupi to win here today? So not to brag. But anyway, bring us into this moment as we see you break into a hike here. Marianne is right on your 6. You're 47 miles into the race at this point. So just share with the audience sort of what's going through your mind.
Yeah, so it's amazing through Cal Street. There's so many twists and turns. You hardly ever can actually tell when anyone's behind you. So we left Forest Hill together, just a little bit apart, and Marianne caught right up to me. And I was like, I know I have to push and kind of try and maybe get a gap. And kind of got a gap, but then it was just twisty turny and I couldn't see her. And then I pop out onto the road to climb up to driver's flat and look behind me, and of course Marianne.
I was with you and you were like,
I was like, she's here. And I told you, I was like, she's relentless.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. You're like, she is absolutely relentless. I can't get rid of her.
Yeah, she's amazing. I mean, she's just competitive to the core.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Marianne Hogan's a Canadian athlete. She's been on the podium at Western States, twice on the podium of UTMB. So literally as good as it gets in this sport. Probably somebody who you were, recognizing is going to be one of your biggest rivals here today. When did you officially kind of break the elastic? Was there ever a point where you felt like you had confidence that you were going to run away with it?
No, I mean, only because the past 4 years I've turned at Roby Point, taken the hard turn onto the climb from Roby Point, and I've always had someone right behind me, and the fact that she wasn't right behind me, I had a chance. So maybe that point was a little more safeguard, but I still was checking with people like the whole way up, like, can you see her? Can you see her? I like until the finish line, I know she's in it, all the way. So.
All right. Yeah. Ryan, let this play, but I want to bring Francesco into the conversation now, and we're going to show your clip here in just a little bit. But I just want the audience to be able to watch this battle because it was so cool. Me and Tim Tollefson were running up the hill with both Emily and Marianne, and even though it's, I guess, hard to see, later on in the clip, you actually see them both in the frame at the same time. So, okay, great. Yeah, so that's there awesome. you can start to see Emily just up ahead. All right, so Francesco, obviously you're Italian. You're extending your undefeated streak on American soil after winning Chuckanut and Lake Sonoma last year. Your first 100K here today. You lower the course record by 40 freaking minutes. One small caveat, they said that there's a little course adjustment that cut off maybe a mile. Either way, 30-plus minute course record here at Canyons in your first freaking 100K. Maybe just first share a little bit about why you chose to came back to North America this year to take a swing at your first race at this distance.
Yeah, I love North America, and it's the birthplace of ultra running in the way I see it. So I want to experience and learn about the history and the big races that I was inspired by when I got into trail running, watching Jim Walmsley or Anton Krupicka and like all these names, these legends, and to, continue this history and culture. For me, it's really cool, and I don't know. I feel like I have some roots here in the U.S. because I spent 1 year in Indiana to study abroad as an exchange student. So I mean, it's my second home after Italy, obviously, and somehow I try to come back every year. And last year I stayed for 6 weeks, and I had a really good time and really good experiences at Chuckanut and Lake Sonoma. This year I decided to stay in Mammoth for an altitude training block with Rod Forward.
Yeah.
And to run canyons because it felt like a very logical choice. Obviously, a very competitive 100K.
Mm-hmm.
It felt perfectly in my race calendar, and it was basically like my A goal for the spring. And also, it's not like an extremely difficult first 100K. For someone who likes to run, like it doesn't take like 12 hours. So I was expecting maybe to be closer to 9 hours. I ran just a little over 8, which is
just a little faster than
good.
That. How comforting. And when you're expecting 9 and you actually run 8, it's like, oh, wow.
I think I wrote down Rod's splits in the chart that I made before the race, and I was aiming for 8:45 around there.
Yeah.
I knew that we could have probably gone faster, just because everyone was saying so, and the field was stacked, and it was pretty clear. Like from the first, 3 miles, we were running like 5:30 pace at the start of 100K. I was like, whoa, like it's like it feels good because you're fresh, but it's obviously...
And 5:30s feel more comfortable for you than people who are maybe a little bit more experienced with
100K, so you never know how it's going to be. Right. And I think like not having the experience is both a good thing and a bad thing because you push the pace early on in the race because you feel like decent, you feel good,
Yeah.
but then it's like you don't know how painful it's gonna get.
Yeah.
And it was extremely painful. by the end.
Okay.
Like it was extremely difficult. I don't want to make it sound
Yeah.
like it was easy for me. The last 20K were hard. I think mostly the section, like from where I saw you at
Yeah.
Cal 2 until Driver's Flat, that was really hard.
Yeah.
And then,
Look at this. First of all, yeah.
the last 15 miles, I could kind of see the finish. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's try.
Yeah.
And
Did you
then-
know you had a gap at that point? I want to
So
go back
the thing
in time.
Is, I was not sure about the gap because you told me like 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like only 2 minutes after.
But that was at
forcing
Michigan
the
Bluff,
pace
and
so
we were
much.
10 miles further down the trail by the time we.
Yeah. So it's good to be in front of the race. You obviously lead the race, but you feel a constant pressure
Yeah.
that you're being chased.
Because
So-
it ended up being more than a 20-minute gap at the end. But anyway, I want to go back in time. And Ryan, if you could pull up Francesco's clip here. What our audience is seeing, obviously, is Emily Hawgood, Marianne Hogan duking it out. Our plan is to post the full unedited clip here so you can actually watch the whole thing. But now we're cutting to Francesco Pupi. This is roughly mile 33 or 34 today. It's about 4 miles outside of,
Tim.
5 or 6 miles outside of the Forest Hill aid station here. When we saw you at Michigan Bluff, Jackson Cole was ahead of you by maybe a minute, but you got out of the aid station before he did. And then there was a small pack, but then the field had strung out much more than I had anticipated, and certainly more so than the women's race had. So I'd love to have you explain a little bit about that, because I think a lot of us were expecting, with the level of competition here today, the golden tickets, the level, just talent and fitness and motivation. Usually that produces like kind of pack racing. What was the dynamic in the men's race like? Because it didn't happen
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, I think having what was his name, Anthony?
Anthony Costales, yeah.
Yeah, forcing the pace early on. That's what kind of broke the pack. And, I kind of wanted to cover every move. So at some point, I just found myself in front. And also, I'm used to, like, running hard because I come from the shorter distances.
Yeah.
And, like, definitely some competitive racing in the Golden Trail Series and, OCC and those kind of races,
Yeah.
which are, like, they go out very fast. So the first 20 miles, we were running, like, comfortably hard, but it didn't feel like,
You're really
too
starting,
much.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe the others were kind of more cautious, and I guess nobody was willing to follow me. I don't know.
So were you running alone for much of the day, or was there a
Yeah.
pack?
I think after, like, by the second time we went through Deadwood, I was by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, almost 75K alone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so it was an introspective experience for sure.
Yeah.
I was hoping to, stay with other athletes for longer, but I just found myself in front, and
Yeah.
and I say, okay, let's go, let's roll.
Yeah. All right. So before we get back to Emily, you won the Trans-Gran Canaria Marathon and the marathon distance race at Chianti. 3 for 3 now this year, bringing home a statement, huge win. I mean, I would view this maybe personally as, you've been twice second place at OCC, which is basically the world championship of 50K. You've been second at the world championship in mountain running. Where do you rank this result in terms of, like, your resume? Because to me, it's one of the most impressive performances of the year. And I
Thank
would
you.
say that about both of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's. I still have to process what I did today, but I think it's right there with a lot of other performances that I've had, which are maybe, less popular here in America, just because I did them in Europe.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of American bias, of course, and also like to witness a performance happening in front of you is different than to learning about a performance that happened far away in a different continent. So yeah, it feels good. Like the fact that I've won 3 races this year, I don't think I'm a very different athlete from what I was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That I was maybe not winning races because I maybe didn't have like that little thing or that the experience that I now have. But I come from short distance, mountain running, and Golden Trail Series, which are extremely competitive events. And maybe like the 50-mile to 100K distance is my thing. I don't know. But
See, that's what I was thinking.
yeah, I mean, it feels like I'm not an expert by any means, but like moderately suffering for an extended period of time, for me, it's easier than to suffer a lot for a very short time.
Yeah, totally.
So,
So 100Ks it is.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Honestly, insane performance. Emily, coming back to you, I want to hear 2 things. Number one, a comment that we made in the last couple of days is like Tim and Corinne and I were just chatting about what we were expecting to happen is, this is going to be your 5th Western States coming up.
Yeah.
And you've been top
incredible.
10 4 times. And like you're very experienced. You're so consistent. But to me, it felt like, as a fan of yours, that you're waiting to break through with like a big signature victory. Like today, obviously you've won a lot of races, but a field like this, golden tickets on the line, and the most competitive canyons that's ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Do you view this as like an important like signature victory in your career? And if so, does it change the way you're thinking about racing? Because we talked about how you took it out a little bit more aggressively and you clearly stuck it. And, you could see how maybe there's a trade-off in racing more aggressively and maintaining the consistency that you've always had. But maybe that's what could lead you to the next big breakthrough at Western States in 8 weeks. Comments on any of that?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, it's my biggest win ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I'm
Yeah.
pretty stoked. Home course. Yeah, I'm super stoked. And then, I mean, now I have a bunch of notes from today and a bunch of notes from, the past 4 years and how things have kind of come together. But, I mean, huge kudos to both my coaches, like my strength coach, Pat McCurry, and my running coach, Paul Lind. This isn't just a win from a few months of training or something. I've been doing this for 8 years now, and now I'm seeing stuff show up.
Yeah.
And actually, a couple months ago, I said to Paul, because he's like, you're super consistent with things, like in your strength training or whatever. And I was like, sometimes I want that to show up for me. And I really felt that today. It happened. And so that was pretty special. And I think that'll maybe give me a little more confidence that okay, it's showing up now, which is cool. Yes, such a competitive field, but to kind of stick my right foot forward in it, and this is it's exciting.
I listened to an interview with LeBron James recently where he made the comment that winning is a skill that you develop, and eventually you have to get that first one, but then the second one's a little bit easier because know how to win again. Anyway, you can comment on that. But the other thing I really want to ask you about, Corinne yesterday shared a story that she wasn't 100% sure was true, which was that you had been offered a sponsor spot into Western States years ago, but declined it and instead came to race your way in out of a point of personal pride. No, I don't want the easy route. I want to race my way in. And you did that. And that was your original gateway into Western States. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Please share that story because I think that's a beautiful thing that says something about you personally. Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2021, I like had the plan. I really wanted to get my golden ticket and run states, and spoke to Paul before, and we kind of came up with this plan. Like if there were 3 golden tickets, Bandera, Bandera, Black Canyon, and Canyons, and we kind of jokingly said like, okay, if you don't get it at Bandera, you'll race Black Canyons, and then if you don't get a Black Canyons, or race Canyons. I don't think Paul ever actually wanted that to happen, but that's how it worked out. So race Bandera, got 3rd, missed the ticket by 1 spot. Race Black Canyon, got 7th, missed it by a few spots.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, okay, you can, line up for Canyons. And I can't remember. I think it was Ultra Sign Up or someone had like a entry. And they reached out to me like, hey, we obviously have seen you show up at 2 golden ticket races. Like, we want to offer you a spot. And right away, I didn't even think about it. I told Paul, I was like, I'm not taking this. Like, I want to race Canyons and earn my way in. Like, I think being, from a long way away, like having internationals travel all the way over here to race.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that just kind of feels like a little bit more of a privilege. Like, no, I'm living here. I can get to the races. Like, let me race. And it was pretty cool because like I declined it, and they gave it to Ragna DeBots, so she got to race.
That was the year she got 2nd.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So she got in. So that was pretty. I mean, that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Like that she got the chance to be here. And then I lucked out. I got it. And I got to race states.
Like, honestly, I think that says something important about your character. And I mean, speaking for myself, like I probably wouldn't have made that same decision. So, I mean, and now you've been rewarded. Now stepping to the start line for your 5th time at Western States, and maybe the universe will conspire to reward you in a very profound way, but we'll get to that in a little bit. On the other side of the coin is a guy who declined his golden ticket today. Oh my gosh. This is going to be the most exciting Western States in history.
I know I feel really bad because I really wanted, like, I would love to race Killian and Jim and Bonson and, all the amazing athletes who are lining up in June, but
not to mention, all right, so sorry,
I'm just not ready
off.
for it.
Okay, I want you to say more about that, but also the other thing that I was like, well, he's just getting back, starting with HOKA again, and you're undefeated this season, 3 races, 3 victories, but your teammates, not only Esther Chilag, Fujia Zhang on the women's side, but Jim Walmsley, Hayden Hawks, Adam Peterman, Rod Farvard. If we had Francesco Pupi in that mix, it'd be the 5 HOKA boys. For gosh sakes. And plus, Esther Chilag and Fujia are both coming off podiums last year too.
I know.
Anyway, share a little bit because I'm sure the audience, we all understand that athletes have different ambitions and career trajectories and people, there's a right time for everything. So maybe share a little bit about what went into this decision today.
Yeah. Basically, I had already made my plans for the season, and I want to do things gradually because I know it's just better. And if I've been able to get to this point, it's because I did things gradually and hopefully at the right time. Yes, I would love to run Western States, and I'm incredibly attracted by this year's race and lineup, but I'm just not ready for it. And I was like, Craig asked me on the finish line, and I was barely able to stand up. So, no way I can run a 100-miler.
Oh, come on, it's just an extra 40 miles, buddy.
The last 10 miles of this race felt so hard.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah, it's a different intensity, I guess, in the 100-mile, but not that different. And
here we
not to take any importance away from Western States, but there are other races that I care about that I want to run in the second half of the year, and I can always go back and run a golden ticket race and get another ticket because I've proved to myself that I'm at that level.
Sure.
Get a golden ticket and get into Western States and finally do it when I'm ready, when I feel ready, and when my coaches think that I'm ready, and when we intentionally prepare Western States.
Yeah. Well, you're such a special athlete. Like, there's not many people who, like, if you were to run Western States this year, I think you would go in as one of the favorites, honestly. And I forgot to mention Vincent. You mentioned his name, but I didn't mention him as part of that HOKA group, of course. But, having followed you for a long time, being on the podium at a world championship just behind Jim Walmsley that year, 2019, I think it was.
Yeah.
Twice at 50K, second place at OCC. Huge victory here. Like, there's few people who I think, could win a vertical race and a 100-miler. And I think you're sort of one of those athletes. So
Thank you.
I think, when the right time comes, I want you to do it. But
Yeah. I feel like, being professional means to be able to say yes or no to certain opportunities. And I feel it's more professional to say no right now than to just follow my, my gut or like the desire of the moment and say yes. It wasn't easy, but I'm glad I handed my golden ticket to Ryan Montgomery.
I was going to ask you that. Did you have a chance to chat with him?
Yeah. It was
because he was thrilled. Our audience there would be no
happy.
Surprise, but he was thrilled, and you got to give him that opportunity. It was reminiscent of what happened last year with Drew Holman. Handed the ticket to Petter Engdahl, and they had this beautiful moment together of just mutual respect and the visceral feeling of like, you want this more than I do, and I'm really proud and happy to give you that opportunity. It's a beautiful freaking thing, dude. So congratulations to you. And when the right time comes, it'll be the right time. All right, let's close by talking about what's next. Obviously, Western States for you. You're also, we should say to the audience, you've been so good at doubling back and doing what UTMB or CCC. What is, maybe first start with how you're thinking about Western States, and then what does the long term look like for the season? We'll do the same for Francesco, and then we'll wind down.
Yeah. Excited for States. Recover from canyons and get ready for States. It was crazy today. It was cold. But it hasn't been cold up until like 2 days ago.
I guess a very different atmosphere from what you will find in June.
Yes.
Yeah, so different. Yeah. But yeah, excited to line up for my 5th.
Number 5.
Exciting.
Maybe you'll get 10 in a row. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
5 in a row is an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then, currently signed up for UTMB. I always make sure I recover from States properly and kind of that, professionalism.
Any tip for recovery from this race?
Huh?
Any tip to recover from this race?
Yeah, recover hard. Don't make it short. Recover. Give your body time. Listen to your body. Keep it.
Gotta learn.
Yeah.
It's easy to push. It's hard to hold back.
Yeah, but you've earned this.
Yeah.
So sit on the couch and look at your goal
your trophy, not your golden ticket.
Yeah, I know. I said gold. At your trophy and think about you earned. I mean, you had a dang incredible day. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so good.
All right, so Western States and then UTMB, assuming everything feels good, and if it doesn't, you'll reassess and make a different decision. But we'll see you in Olympic Valley in 8 weeks. Francesco, what does the season look like for you? It feels like, to forego this type of an opportunity, there's something big in your crosshairs. What is that thing?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge that I have in my horizon is to double with CCC and the world champs in the long distance trail, which they are 4 weeks apart from each other. So they're really close. It's not ideal timing, but it's a challenge that I absolutely want to take, and I'm very motivated to try CCC because I feel like I've given my best shot to OCC, and I'm not super motivated to go back a third time and trying to improve something that is not perfect, obviously, but you know, I feel pretty good about my 2 podiums at OCC. So yeah, CCC will be very different from today's race, much longer in terms of duration and much more vert. But I have the whole summer to train for it, and I think with a good training block and some proper recovery after CCC, I can also, like, CCC itself can provide a really good training stimulus for the world champs if done correctly. So yeah, that is the big challenge, and then my season is going to be over. But yeah, I've been selected for the national team to run in Canfranc, and it's always special to represent your country.
Hell yes. Well, we're going to be there, and we'll be cheering for you. And yeah, what a worthy alternative for Western States this year, doubling those two. Okay, so our champions here. Emily Hawgood bringing it home, 9 hours, 46 minutes, 44 seconds. Francesco Pupi bringing it home in just a ridiculous 8 hours, 4 minutes, 36 seconds. A big round of applause for our champions, Emily Hawgood, Francesco Pupi.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming into the studio. Amazing.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan.
All right, we're going to wind down now. A big thank you to everybody who watched our coverage here this weekend. It was an insane, amazing, best canyons ever, for sure. We hope you enjoyed watching at home. I know the tracker was a little messed up. I know there was no live stream. We hope you found Freetrail to be a good alternative.
Yeah.
And we are just leaving here inspired by amazing performances, not only by Emily and Francesco, but also the people who are still coming into the finish line and who will be still coming into the finish line here for the next few days. A big thank you to HOKA for sponsoring our coverage here today and throughout the weekend. Go check out this Mafate X, a sweet shoe that I saw a lot of people rocking out on the trails throughout race weekend. A big thank you also to the superstar, the man behind the scenes, Mr. Ryan Thrower, throwing the peace sign to his fans. What's next, Rye? We got a little bit of a break. Oh, no, you're going to Cocodona next week.
Oh, no break.
Easy.
All right, so you'll get to see Ryan at Cocodona next week. And
Non-stop.
Yeah. Working on a really fun and big project there. I'm not going to get to be his wingman, but he is well capable to do it himself. The next time we're going to trailgate, I think, isn't until Broken Arrow. So we got a little bit of a break coming up, which is great because we've been bouncing around the country and the world for the last few months. So now we recharge and get ready for Broken Arrow, TrailCon, Western States, Hard Rock, UTMB, the World Championships, Javelina. Best sport ever, best weekend ever. Thank you guys all so much for watching. For Emily Hawgood, Francesco Pupi,